Welcome to the DayOneFM podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Alex Marciniak, with my other host.
Robbie Finizio here at Day One. I'm excited to be here for our second episode.
I'm very excited. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about the COVID-19 rules and policies that we have here at Sacred Heart. I think that probably we should start off with some of the guest policies.
Yeah, so what's crazy is that, when we were in quarantine, we really didn't know what was going to happen. Considering, coming back in the fall, we're like, oh, we've been in quarantine. There's been so many rules, and, we haven't been able to do anything. How are we going to, get back to campus without, spreading the virus just, rapidly? And I think the biggest thing that they've done is, kind of allowed us to be in our own pod where you have your roommates and you really don't get to have people over, which I think personally has been a little bit of an iffy situation. And I know we've talked about this before, but the idea of that you can go to a dining hall, you can go to the library and you're kind of in contact with people, but then technically they're not allowed in your room, which I think kind of contradicts the idea of trying to, limit the spread, but at the same time, I feel like it doesn't make that much sense.
Yeah, I personally don't understand the guest policy, and the thing is, though, this past week they lifted that policy.
Yep.
If you saw that email, and they are now allowing people from different dorms to be able to visit each other, and that was the big thing for the past 2 semesters. Really, they weren't allowing other people in dorms visiting friends in other dorms. It wasn't happening, and I didn't understand why we were even at school at that point, because I think I have 2 in-person classes. One of my buddies doesn't go in class at all,
Yeah.
So
It's that's the thing too, is they have us come to campus, but a lot of classes are online. I was pretty lucky where I had I think 3 classes in person, and then this semester I meet for at least 3 again. But at the same time, like you said, I know a lot of kids that don't even go to class. They literally just they come to school to live in a dorm and not really
yeah,
have to go to the academic building ever. And that I think is an interesting point where it's why would we come back to campus if we're not going to go to class in person? I that was the thing I didn't understand, because I understand, again, you can't have that many people in a room, but I don't know, I feel like we're already living together, we're already on campus together. Why can't we go to class together?
yeah, and I think that's gonna kind of segue us into another topic of the punishments that the school has been giving in other schools, but I guess we can talk a little bit about Sacred Heart and the fact that the randomness of some of their punishments. I can personally say I have gotten in trouble
Yeah.
for, I guess, breaking a COVID-19 rule, and I'm sorry if people get offended, or if I guess they feel that I put their life in danger, but I was put into quarantine by the school, and I arrived at the said location. Uh, and usually, this was the third time that I have been quarantined, by the way. And I arrive, and they tell me I'm not getting food, and I say,
What do you
"What?"
mean they refused to get you food?
So the other 2 times I went into quarantine, they had provided food.
Right.
They had given you meals. I go in the third time. This is over winter break when it's just athletes here, and they say, "We're not giving you food. You have to provide food for yourself because you're getting meal money." Now, I hadn't gotten. Well, I think I did get the money for that week,
Yeah.
but when they give you the money, and I hadn't bought all the groceries yet. We had just gotten our money, and we get put into quarantine. They kick you out of your dorm. It's about
Right.
2 hours that they give you to pack up all your stuff, move out
And then where did you go? Where did they send you?
to Taft. It's in the middle of Bridgeport.
How did they get you there? They get you in a van or something like that? What do
Uh,
they do?
it's optional whether or not like you can take your own car over. So me and my buddy that were going into quarantine, we went over.
Yeah.
And they told us you're not getting food, and we said, okay, well, I guess we'll just leave and go get food.
Like
we literally went to Target. We had our masks on. We went to go get food.
They refused you food though. What are you gonna do? I don't understand what they thought you were gonna do then if they're not gonna give you food.
They wanted us to like give our money to somebody else, and it's first off, by the way, Friday night, by the way. So none of our friends are around. They're out partying or whatever.
Right.
It's Friday night.
Yeah.
There's nobody.
Exactly.
Like, we had gotten a call from our trainer when we were at Target. And he was like, can I get you anything? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, now it's too late. And we get back, and the RAs and stuff are waiting in our room. They're mad.
Because you left.
But then they thought that we went out to go party or whatever, and we came back and we had groceries.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, okay. Like, they were understanding, And they said, you shouldn't get in trouble for this, right? I get an email next day when I wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Alex and my buddy, you guys are suspended for 30 days.
Oh, what?
30 days.
Okay.
30 days they wanted to suspend us. I got it down to 2.
2 days?
2 weeks. And it really ended up being 0 because it was through the quarantine. So 2 weeks of quarantine counted as that suspension. So I got it down, and it's not an official suspension. It was never an official suspension.
It's like a COVID thing.
It was like a COVID, and it was over
those
off season.
Those don't go on your record, probably. Right?
Yeah, it's not going to go on the record. But, I was getting annoyed.
Yeah.
My buddy was getting annoyed.
Yeah.
And, it's even more funny. So some kids that I know, I'm not going to say any names, but they threw a party, big party, lots of people there, and I think the school found out, the police got involved. They got 2 weeks. But but they gave me and my buddy for going out to go get food 30 days.
Now let me ask you, you guys did you have COVID? Did you test positive?
No.
You just were in contact with a roommate, right? Something like that?
It was someone in our wrestling room.
Not even a roommate. It was just
Yeah. And we had gotten our test back that day or something, and it said that we were negative.
But you had to quarantine for 14 days? What was the quarantine period?
So the state says 10 days, but the school says 14. So
why wouldn't the school go by state regulation? You know what I'm saying? Why would they not go by that? Were they trying to be extra careful?
I don't know.
And that's the thing too. It's like when you get exposed, there's like an incubation period. Yeah. Where if you get exposed, it's going to take 3 to 5 days to actually get symptoms or get the COVID. Before, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if you took a rapid test right after you saw someone with COVID, you're not going to have it.
Yeah.
5 days, maybe. Like, I had the thing where it was my roommate's girlfriend, and we got, dinner on a Thursday. I got, a rapid test the next day. I was negative. Rapid test on Sunday, I was negative. Then a PCR test Monday, came back negative on Wednesday. It's crazy. And did you ever have COVID?
I have yet to get COVID, and I've been placed into quarantine 3 times.
And I get that, the whole point is that they quarantine or, isolate people because they were in contact. But at the same time, I feel like it's kind of a soft move because if you're, I think it should be, 5 days. 5-6 days max. 2 weeks, and it's just like that at that point, and then they're not going to give you food and make you go out and send someone to get it.
Yeah, that was.
It's the problem is they make so many rules that people are going to break them because the rules they make are unrealistic. They don't even make sense half the time. So that's what my predicament with it is, and I think that obviously it's a new thing. It's hard to deal with. It's they're probably still learning too. So there's some rules they made. They're probably wow, that wasn't that good. It didn't pan out. Most of this stuff is an experiment because they don't actually know what's going to work. The fall semester was so different than spring, I believe, because they were so like hesitant to do any campus events, any club events, anything like that. Like I'm in a couple clubs and like we didn't do anything the first semester. Finally, this semester we did a couple things, but they don't approve anything.
Yeah.
Like I'm in like the Habitat for Humanity club, and like we do like an event where we like do a a hammer the nail thing, and they wouldn't let us do it because it's like touching a hammer. That's like disinfecting and all that. So like they didn't approve that, which I don't know that I don't know if that makes sense. And the second thing was that I was at like Linda's last semester, and like I wanted to get a barbecue chicken pizza, and I couldn't get it because they don't put barbecue on the pizza. They give it to you on the side.
Yeah, I
Like it's just like it's when you get to the point where you're making too many rules, and it actually makes it worse. Like it genuinely just makes it more difficult and just stressful for
funny
everyone.
you said that about Linda's.
Yeah.
They only let in a certain amount of people into Linda's.
Oh, that's
right?
another predicament.
But, however, they have this crowded line outside of Linda's with like 40 people all
Exactly.
crunched up. By trying to fix one problem, just making another problem.
Right.
Like,
listen, like, and this is like very constructive criticism to Sacred Heart, because I think that they need to listen to the students more than they do like their administration, because they're not students and they don't understand like the day to day what we do. And I almost feel like this is like good perspective on it, that like they very much think that that everything they do, the super cautiousness is going to work. But when you think about it, it's been more than a year since COVID, like the outbreak started in like March. Vaccinations are coming through.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people getting vaccinated. I'm trying to get vaccinated. It's kind of hard to do right now, just because like it's hard to get an appointment. So I'm like, all right, maybe I'll wait till I get home.
You're one of the last people that will get it, because
Yeah.
it goes old people, middle-aged people. It's
like
literally
healthcare workers,
last
teachers.
people to get it are going to be like
Us.
young 20-year-old men.
Did you get it yet?
No, you're not. Like, it's going to be a very, very, and when I say very, very, it's going to be a couple months.
Yeah,
to get
and
it.
then once we get it, then that's kind of like your key card everywhere.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That's why I want to get it. That's why I want to
groceries.
get it, is because I want to be able to like do stuff. And I don't know like how I'm gonna feel once I get it. Am I gonna be like, oh wow, COVID's over now? Like, not really, because I still gotta like you have to wear a mask and like social distance, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna take a couple months, but I mean, I would just want to get it just to have that card and be like, all right, like,
yeah,
I'm probably not gonna get it. I hope. I mean, I think you still can get it with the vaccine, but I mean, it's just more reassuring, I guess. But
now,
yeah.
You were talking about the school listening to the students.
Yeah.
I also think that they should try and learn from other schools.
Correct.
Other schools in the area, we talked about this, Rob, a couple weeks ago, on what the school should have done, and now it's getting back to normal, but what they should have done right after that.
Right.
They didn't want people visiting other people in other dorms, right?
Right.
But they let visitors from outside of campus come onto campus, view the campus. They let outsiders in. They let the people on campus leave and go hang out at houses.
Yeah.
They allowed that. What they should have done is this. They should have locked down the campus, had it as its own little community where everyone can go, I guess, hang out with each other in their dorms and stuff like that, and not let anyone out of the campus. It would have been a closed campus, and that's that.
Yeah, no. So we talked about that, and I think it's a good idea. Like in theory, it's a great idea. The problem, I think, the only thing that the issues with it, like people have to leave for medical reason, medicine, any emergency, they need to get home for something. That's where you just can't force people to stay like somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like it would make sense to keep everybody incubated, and where like you can actually walk around without a mask and like just be chill and like not have to worry about it. But then at the same time, like professors don't live here, so
right.
Professors would come in and they'd be bringing stuff from outside, and they wouldn't be in the incubation thing, which is what sucks. That's why like it's like there almost is no ideal policy or like situation. Like obviously like they did what they could, but I think they should have listened to a couple other schools in terms of guest policies and whatnot. I feel like as much as I understand some guest policies about not overcrowding rooms because it can limit the spread because there's less people, less likely,
Yeah.
and whatnot. But at the same time, I walk around campus. I go to Linda's. I go to the 63s. I go to the library. I walk in the hallways. Like I'm definitely in contact with people more often than not, just naturally. And I feel like I think it's been long enough where like I think we deserve the right to be able to go hang out with our friends, have our friends over, go to their
Yeah.
houses. I mean, maybe okay, maybe not like 30 people in a room, like at least like 10, like at least give us a little more freedom where we're not worried every time we're trying to hang out that we're going to get like literally like
Arrested.
arrested, suspended. I know the 30-day suspension thing was something they talked about
Yeah.
before, like in the summer. They're like, all right, going into fall,
Oh, they're serious
more
about it.
party more than 12 people, you get
Yeah.
suspended. More people in your room than like half the capacity, you be suspended.
Yep.
Any kind of like if you go against any of the COVID rules, you'd be suspended. And that I understand because they want to enforce it, and then like if they don't enforce it, no one's gonna follow it. I
Yeah.
think it is definitely they were more cutthroat than a lot of universities around here for sure. Do you think it worked being that cutthroat?
I feel like I have a very biased answer towards that because I just was not happy overall with the choices that were made. Um, but I think that they did what they thought would work. So I'll give them that. I think that they did what they thought is the best for the Sacred Heart community. So if that's what they thought was best, then that's what they thought was
Yeah.
best. So, as long as they were doing it with good intentions and with nothing else, I guess, behind them, like politically or anything like that, and they truly believed that this would keep the people on campus safe, then kudos to them.
Yeah, no, definitely. I definitely think they. I think another thing with Sacred Heart is like they definitely want to uphold their image.
Yeah.
They want to definitely keep an image that they're on top of their stuff and like they're being responsible, which is why like I was talking about like campus events and stuff, like they're so on top of that because like if any event is like they're not wearing masks or they're wearing like they're not covering over their nose or whatever,
Yeah.
like they like can't have that. Like they basically like they won't. So they just didn't do it because they didn't want to risk that. And now they're like a little more freedom, but like they're pretty much on everybody's like ass about like anything. Like they're
Yeah.
just not like there's not a lot of slack that can be cut right now. Which listen, I mean, we had a couple more weeks left of the semester. I can handle it, but I really think that going into next year, and we were gonna talk about this too, like just predictions for the next year, like fall and spring 2021 and 2022, I feel like definitely is the transition to the new like just normalcy, the normalcy of like maybe just I really think that like obviously COVID will probably still be around where like people will get it occasionally, but I really think that like starting to loosen it up will just create more of a comfortability around campus and like well, honestly, I think nature will do its course in terms of everybody being vaccinated. But the entire
Yeah.
most majority, they're probably going to require the vaccine. So I imagine that with a whole campus of probably most of our professors are probably vaccinated because they're some of them are older. So there you go. Then most of us will get vaccinated probably in the summer, especially if it's required. We're going to have to get it anyway. So a fully vaccinated campus, the numbers will decrease to a point where it's almost negligent, and then they can start to take down the glass dividers and the social distance signs and all that. Obviously that's the hopeful, the positive, optimistic style where stuff starts to get in the right direction, where we don't have to live in this just like incubated kind of lifestyle. And we talked about that too, how like COVID has affected like our like day-to-day life, like what you do
Yeah.
on a daily basis, like how our routines and like what we do has had to change because we just can't do it the same way. And like, do you feel like you're gonna be able to go back to your old way, or are you getting used to this new way?
I'm most definitely not getting used to this. I understand the masks, and but do I want to live like that for another 5 years? Most definitely not. Do I want to have, I guess, restrictions on basically anywhere I go? Like the 6 feet policy thing, and it gets annoying. That's all I'm saying. And I liked life beforehand. I think everyone else can say that. And I'm not saying Sacred Heart is like this, but I think there's certain individuals out there that love the COVID-19 policies because it gives them a sense of power to be able to enforce these rules to other people, and it makes them feel important. And I'm not saying that's Sacred Heart. I'm saying that there are individuals out there that it gives them a sense of entitlement and power.
COVID has created so many just like, bad relationships and like just a lot of like emotional issues for people and like just a lot of fighting because who believes in doing this or quarantining and all that, you know what I'm saying, like even within like families, like some aunts do this and like someone's cousin did that, like there's so many different perspectives on it, and like it divides a lot of people and it creates a lot of anxiety, anger, confusion, because it's something that everybody's been dealing with differently. And on the sense of like people taking advantage of the power it gives, I believe it, like, because with COVID, it's like you can tell people what to do.
Yeah.
You get a lot more rules. Like at least for our freshman year, we were used to a very relaxed, kind of could do whatever you want, go wherever you want at any time because most stuff was open late. Bless you.
Thank you.
And now it's like you got to live on a tight schedule. You know what I mean? Everything's a tight window. Things close at like 10 everywhere still. I've gotten a little bit used to that, but I really don't want to. Same. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to get used to it, but at the same time, like, I'm going to be very excited to go back to not that.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Anything else from you, Alex?
No, I think that just about sums it up. Thank you for listening, everybody. This has been Alex.
And I'm Rob. Obviously, guys, if you haven't checked out our first episode of Day One, it's on my YouTube channel, Rob Finizio. I'll put the link in the bio. But have a good day, guys.
Have a good one.